The Royal Navy had early identified the fact that Esquimalt was a better deep-water harbor than was Victoria. However, Sir James Douglas and the Hudson's Bay Company established the Hudson's Bay Post in Victoria, and that became the commercial center. The Royal Navy, however, used the deepwater port, the better deepwater port over in Esquimalt, not far away. And up here on the wall, we see these decorative items from one of the ships that was stationed out here, HMS Swiftsure. Now, she was the flagship of the Pacific Station. The Royal Navy maintained a Pacific Station in the 19th century. Initially, it was headquartered, if you will, in Valparaiso, Chile. But in the latter part of the century, they moved this, the flag officer up to, that is the admiral in charge, up to Esquimalt. So the flagship of the Pacific Squadron was HMS Swiftsure twice in the late 19th century, and these decorative boards are relics from her. What's interesting is that what did the Royal Navy do when they were on the coast? Well, they acted as a constabulary force to deal with issues up and down the coast. There were issues with First Nations groups. There was a case of showing the flag, reinforcing civic authority over in the gold fields, et cetera, et cetera. But much of the most productive work that was done by the Navy was in hydrographic surveys. And this is quite significant because the surveys they did were then opened up this coast to commercial navigation. Commercial navigation was getting more sophisticated. Steamships were coming in, bigger ships, deeper drafts. We needed better surveys. So Swiftsure was one of the ships that did surveys, and she discovered a bank that's a sort of an area of slightly more shoal water out of the entrance of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. That became known as the Swiftsure Bank. Subsequently, there was a light vessel established out there, and laterally that light vessel was replaced by a buoy, but it's the Swiftsure light vessel or buoy long acted as a sort of an end of the voyage point for ships coming across the Pacific or up the coast, coming into the Strait of Juan de Fuca, which gave them entrance into either Vancouver, Victoria, or down into Puget Sound. And of course, nowadays we think of the Swiftsure, the name Swiftsure in connection with a famous yacht race that happens here every 2 years, every year, which one of the Swiftsure races takes sailboats all the way out to the bank and back.